In line with the post-war economic growth, JNR actively pursued the acceleration of trains. The Shinkansen was representative of this, bringing dramatic results between Tokyo and Osaka, but the high construction costs posed a significant challenge, making nationwide Shinkansen expansion unattainable. In the 1960s, JNR actively invested in technology development and infrastructure to accelerate conventional lines in many regions where the Shinkansen was not feasible. The pinnacle of these efforts was the major timetable revision in 1968, known as Santo, where the maximum speed of limited express trains on conventional lines reached 120 km per hour. On main lines with good track structure, many trains achieved a commercial speed exceeding 80 km per hour, contributing to reduced travel times and increased transportation capacity, which also helped improve JNR's strained finances. However, due to signal equipment limitations, the braking distance for emergency brakes was restricted to 600 meters, making it difficult to increase maximum speeds. The most effective remaining measure was to increase the speed at which trains could pass through curves. To enable this, two goals were set: developing low center of gravity lightweight vehicles to ensure safety at high-speed curve passage and reduce track damage, and developing car body tilting mechanisms to prevent deterioration of ride comfort due to excessive centrifugal force. Thus began the development of new EMUs. However, the development of these new vehicles required time and expense, and widespread adoption would take even longer. Therefore, considerations began on whether the curve passage speed could be increased to some extent with the existing tracks and vehicles. For electrified sections, the 481 series EMUs, 581 series EMUs, and 20 series passenger cars hauled by EF65 locomotives were targeted. For non-electrified sections, the 181 series DMUs were targeted. Safety against derailment, the impact on tracks due to lateral pressure, ride comfort, and track maintenance impact were examined in relation to increasing curve passage speed. As a first test in the electrified section, it was conducted in June 1969 using the 581 series west of Hiroshima on the Sanayo main line, with a speed increase up to 15 km per hour. This was followed by a test in July on the Chua West line with the 181 series. This trial, also introduced in another video, was conducted with a two-car formation of Kiha 181 and Kiha 91, with a speed improvement of up to 20 km per hour. In September, another trial was conducted on the Sanayo main line using EF65 and 20 series passenger cars, with a speed improvement of up to 10 km per hour. In January 1970, a test was conducted on the Hokuriku main line with 10 series passenger cars to examine the wind impact while the train was stationary at a station. Additionally, in July, a trial was carried out on the Sanayo main line using the 481 series EMUs, with a speed improvement of up to 15 km per hour. The results showed that while the 181 series nearly reached the limits in terms of lateral pressure and derailment coefficient, lateral acceleration remained within acceptable limits, indicating a potential for some speed improvement. However, other vehicles yielded disappointing results, indicating that speed improvement was difficult. For the 581 series EMUs, the weight difference between the left and right wheels during curve passage became too large, increasing the risk of overturning and recording excessive values for lateral pressure, derailment coefficient, and lateral acceleration. Regarding EF65, the lateral pressure became excessive, making speed improvement beyond the specified limits impossible. Although the locomotive did not pass, the 20 series passenger cars, including the heavy power cars, performed well within acceptable ranges. Despite the speed improvement being only 10 km per hour, which makes direct comparison with other vehicles difficult, the lightweight car body might have been effective. The Connie 21 also performed well, suggesting that even with a single heavy car, if the entire formation is light, positive results might be achieved through the interaction between multiple vehicles and the track, although the exact cause remains unknown. On the other hand, for the 481 series EMUs, although there was no risk of derailment, the lateral pressure increased, occurring at specific sections of the track. Identifying sections with increased lateral pressure during regular maintenance was deemed difficult, making practical curve passage speed improvement challenging for the 481 series EMUs. In 1971, preparations for the Shinkansen Okayama opening led to the consideration of increasing the speed of the 181 series limited express Oki via the Hakubi line. Under the track conditions at that time, the standard running time between Yanaga and Kurashiki was 152 minutes with an average speed of 62 km per hour. Improving the speed by 5 km per hour reduced the time to 132 minutes with an average speed of 65.7 km per hour, and a 10 km per hour improvement reduced the time to 128 minutes with an average speed of 67.8 km per hour, showing significant potential for faster service. To explore this possibility, curve passage speed improvement tests were conducted. The trial was conducted with a two-car formation of Kiha 181 and Kiha 91, similar to the trial on the Chua West line. To my knowledge, this kind of test run has not been featured in railway hobby magazines. The trial was conducted over 4 days from November 19 to 22 between Yanaga and Kurashiki. The track structure consisted of 50 kg rails on the double-track section between Kurashiki and Bichuharose, and 40 kg or 37 kg rails between Bichuharose and Yanaga. The curve passage speed was improved by 5 km per hour and 10 km per hour compared to the speed limits of high-performance limited express trains. During this trial, the weight borne by the inner wheels of the curve did not fall below 80% of the weight when stopped, ensuring safety against overturning. However, the lateral pressure exceeded the limit that would cause the track gauge to widen even at current speed limits, and this tendency worsened with speed improvement. Regarding ride comfort, the lateral acceleration due to centrifugal force met certain conditions, indicating that a 5 km per hour speed increase was feasible without issues in sections with appropriate cant, and there was no significant deterioration in ride comfort due to vibrations. On the other hand, the maximum lateral pressure often exceeded 6 tons, worsening with speed improvement. The results on the Hakubi line were worse than those on the Chua West line, making it unclear whether the relatively good performance of the 181 series was due to differences in track conditions or vehicle characteristics. Although the cause was left for future investigation, it was determined that increasing the curve passage speed on the Hakubi line was difficult, so the existing speed limits remained. Consequently, no speed improvements were made for the limited express Oki or the subsequent Yakumo. Thus, even on the relatively well-constructed double-track section of the Hakubi line with 50 kg rails, the maximum speed of the 181 series remained at 85 km per hour, and speeds on flat sections were limited to around 65 km per hour due to curve restrictions, resulting in a leisurely pace except when crossing mountains. Repeated attempts to improve curve passage speeds with existing vehicles ultimately did not bear fruit during the JNR era. JNR focused on developing tilting EMUs and gas turbine trains. While the gas turbine trains were not put into practical use, the tilting EMUs led to the mass production of the 381 series, contributing to speeding up mountainous routes across various regions. Although improving curve passage speeds with existing vehicles was not realized, the accumulation of technical knowledge and experience eventually enabled some degree of speed improvement even without car body tilting mechanisms. Additionally, there was a renewed recognition of the need for track reinforcement on regional main lines, which was actively pursued, laying the foundation for achieving higher speeds on many routes.